This is a recording of this year's Virtual Residency Fair. We'd like to take the time to thank the programs that volunteered their time to present to this year's applicants. This year's PM&R Scholars Virtual Residency Fair is supported by PM&R Recap and Ultrasound Guidance. PM&R Recap is the leading resource for your physiatry board preparation, clinical preparation, audition rotations, and beyond. PM&R Recap offers 35 hours of review videos, hundreds of review questions, and oral board cases to help you become the best physiatrist that you can be. Head to pmnrrecap.com to learn more. Ultrasound Guidance is the innovative new online ultrasound learning platform that gives you instant access to expert instruction. With rapid scans and complete scans of every joint and peripheral nerve, Ultrasound Guidance is the perfect way to jumpstart your MSK ultrasound learning. Visit ultrasoundguidance.com to learn more.
Okay, I will introduce myself and some Sinai folks on the call while I'm getting this set up. So my name is Dr. Carly Trentman. I better start this over. Okay, you didn't see any of this. And I am one of the associate program directors here at Mount Sinai. Okay, how does that look on my screen? Everyone can see it, hopefully.
Looks good.
Okay, thanks, Andy. So that leads me into who else we have on this call. So we also have our PGY2 here, Andy Rivera, joining us. We have some PGY3s, Dr. Farah Assad and Dr. Eric Jones. They're all going to be helping with questions in the chat while I'm speaking and afterwards. And then we also have my colleague, our other associate program director, Dr. Lizanne Cruz. So all of us are here to join you, and hopefully among all of us, one of us will have the answer to your question. So with that, I will get started. Okay, get all this Zoom toolbars out of here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we are Mount Sinai. We're here in New York City. I don't want to use this time to go over our entire mission statement right now because I want to kind of keep this rolling through, but just know that, we're committed to developing well-rounded, passionate, dedicated physiatrists. We're very passionate about the diversity in our program. That should reflect the diversity of the patients in which we so serve, which you will see the different sites. Okay, so program features. Some of these things are hot off the press. So one of those is that first thing that you see there in bold, which is 40 residents. That's 10 per year. That's new. We started for quite a few years with 7 residents. Then we morphed into partly offering some categorical, some advanced slots. And as of this year, we are now fully a categorical program with 10 residents per year. So the current PGY1s are our first batch of residents that are all categorical, which is very exciting. We have a lot of affiliate hospitals. We've got inpatient, outpatient, consultation services. We've got a ton of research, a research track. You get funding for national conferences. You get standardized money each year for academic, anything you so choose, whether that's board review, conferences, that sort of thing. We have actually an anatomy dissection course. So depending on your passion for dissection lab in medical school, it's back. I personally, I'm actually a graduate of the program as well. At first, I was pretty nervous that we had this dissection course, but it turns out it's a lot more focused on MSK, which makes sense given our field. And you are involved in the dissection course as a PGY3, and I actually found it very, very helpful. We get 2 cadavers among the class, and you get to kind of get all of those concepts onto a cadaver themselves. We have some call-free electives as well as some call-free rotations in general. And then we get access, like most academic programs, to PM&R texts and membership in AAPM&R and AAP. So I just spoke on this already, but the categorical track, hot off the press, everyone. So now we have it as 10 residents match per year. So I know we're one of the biggest. We are not the biggest in the entire country, but we're definitely pretty up there with 10 per year. However, even with 10 residents, I would say that you don't get kind of lost in the crowd kind of thing. We're still 40 total residents as a program. And now the intern year here has actually been revamped. So the categorical track in general, it started with some of them partially coming as categoricals, I believe in 2020, the PGY ones in 2020. 5 were categorical, 2 were advanced, and then it slowly trickled. Their intern year is much different than what you see here. And that's because we really take feedback very seriously, and we try to incorporate, what things worked well, what didn't work well, to create a, hopefully, as you see, well-balanced intern year that really, medicine is extremely important to becoming a physiatrist, internal medicine I'm referring to, but as well, in addition to internal medicine, emergency medicine is quite helpful, especially those of you interested in sports or sideline coverage. There's also neuro, a lot of overlap, pain and sports, and then inpatient PM&R. And then half of the PGY2 block, you kind of get this intro. Boot camp isn't the right, it's not a scary boot camp, it's a fun boot camp. At least all the PGY2s I saw at this were smiling at it, doing casting and various things. But starting your PGY2 year, you get a 0.5 block intro to that. So for PGY2 through 4 years, our program in general, I would say more of the inpatient is incorporated, the majority into PGY2 year, and then some of PGY3. By the time you're at PGY4, it's all basically outpatient rotations as well as like consult rotations. Our program is designed this way to give ample opportunity for PGY4s to be able to interview, do away rotations. Many go on to do fellowships or apply for jobs. And so we found that it just works better as a PGY4 to be able to have kind of the clinic schedule to be able to accommodate those needs. You see that we have the consult services, the Elmhurst Consult Service, which is in Queens. That's a Sinai affiliate hospital. That's kind of been a part of our program for many years, but this is a new rotation as of this year, which is Mount Sinai Main Consult, which you'll have 1 to 2 blocks of. Let me see. These other ones are not changes from previous. Yeah, these are all things that we've had before. But as you see, a pretty robust mix of things that you would need to know in rehab. So here's some of our department leadership. Our chair is Dr. Joseph Herrera. We also have our program director, which is Dr. Miguel Escalon. We have a lot of rosters of photos, so I'm not necessarily going to go through every single person and every single one. I just want to kind of show you that we have a lot of, directors of each kind of departments. This is Dr. Doms O'Connor. She's one of our directors of the BIRC, which is the Brain Injury Research Center. So that's an opportunity for research for those of you interested in TBI. We are a model system program for both TBI and SCI. This is Dr. Thomas Bryce. He's our SCI Fellowship Program Director, as well as our he does a lot of research, definitely, especially in pain within SCI. We have Dr. David Petrino here, who is a part of the ARC, or the Abilities Research Lab, which we'll go into. I have a video actually of some of the work he's been working with, the Quad Gods, who they just had an HBO special. He does a lot of stuff, but we'll focus on kind of one aspect of the people that he's worked with soon. And then I'll talk about Dr. Zachary in the next slide. But these are just, you can see we have Dr. Sue Kim here is with our pain management department. And she's actually now one of the program directors for the pain fellowship, which now has a PM&R spot within the pain fellowship program at Mount Sinai West. So this is to emphasize just that a lot of graduates from our program go on to become leaders in various other institutions and fashions. So I'll just point out a few. Dr. Adam Stein here is the current chair at Northwell, and he is a graduate of Mount Sinai. Some of these look familiar because they were on the last slide, but it's just to highlight different leadership roles. Dr. Miriam Zachary, who is our sports fellowship program director, is also one of the medical advisors for Team USA fencing, including the Olympians. we have Dr. Richard Chang here, who's another one of our sports and spine doctors, and he is actually the president of the New York Society of Pain, I think Pain Society. I may be mispronouncing that acronym, so any of my Sinai colleagues on here, if they remember the exact acronym, please let me know. And then finally, we also have Dr. Aditya Raghunadan. He is the Associate Program Director of PM&R at UT Health San Antonio. So just to highlight a few of the leadership that people have gone on to do. This is also to highlight different fellowships that our graduates have completed within the last 10 years. If you see any sort of asterisk, it means that there's been even more than one graduate that's, another fellowship that's been obtained by more than one resident. And this list continues to grow. Just this last year, this was one of our graduates went on to do pediatric pain at Harvard. So we continue to get kind of a diverse amount of different types of fellowships that people go into. And those that are interested in doing a fellowship, our residents match very well, as you can see. Okay, here's where I wanted to show you guys the quad gods. So let me hope this plays. And it will. Nice. I say that and then my internet's gonna fight me.
Esports competition is huge. $1 billion industry with millions of players.
Come on, you're stronger than that. I will play a game from the night to the morning. Oh, I got up. I will keep playing that game until I win. You walk from point A to point B. I roll from point A to point B. It doesn't make me any less of a person.
When we're trying to help someone recover from neurological injury, you need thousands of repetitions of movements.
We put together an esports team.
Logitech is announcing the first adaptive esports tournament.
We got to put the work in for that. When you come so close to death, it'll make you look at life and time totally differently.
In my dream, I'm walking.
That means that I'm not giving up. The biggest misconception that people have is that we're fragile. I lost one identity and the real me came out. It was a rebirth because I have become the person I was meant to be.
Okay, so you guys get the gist of that. So this is exciting, more kind of hot off the press. That was Dr. Petrino. If you guys were listening in on that, the one with the Australian accent. So he's actually he's the one that works in the Abilities Research Lab, and he's an innovator. He's a Mount Sinai innovator, and he was hired specifically for that purpose. So he's doing a lot of really amazing things. And yeah, we just got a HBO Max deal. It came out on July 10th. So feel free to watch that. I think I just call it Max now, right? Not HBO Max. Okay, so we also just recently received a $2.5 million study to have a first of its kind brain implant for restoring function in paralyzed patients. I'd encourage you guys to look into this article if you'd like to know more, but this is to just showcase more about both how much research there is available for residents, but also just as a department, we are kind of in a lot of different facets and there's a lot of opportunity. I think this one's a little bit of a longer video. Let me just see. So I'm going to speed this one up a little bit just to show you that we do use, I'm going to pause it for a second. So a part of our rehab, we have specialized inpatient rehabilitation floors, including a spinal cord injury floor, traumatic brain injury floor, and then also general rehab. A part of the SCI floor, we actually do use exoskeleton technology. So I'm going to play a little bit with Dr. Bryce so you can kind of meet him on the video. He's our director of
that he had
SCI.
a complete spinal cord injury at the T3 level, which means that he had no sensation or motor function below his upper chest.
Vocal cords were paralyzed, my tongue was paralyzed, I couldn't eat or drink for like 2.5 months. I couldn't talk. Then I had a breathing tube in my.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to go a little bit further down so you can kind of get the gist of what we're talking about, because I want to leave ample room for you guys to get your
VA,
questions
where
in.
I'm part of
So
a
this is in
clinical
rehab.
trial.
He was
So I
in
do
our-
that 3 times a week, which is great, and I can feel the benefits, and it's just good to kind of be
So there's
standing.
the
in my feet.
exoskeleton.
The exoskeleton program that we have here at Mount Sinai, I think is critical. It's a robot that is kind of fitted to the outside of the body, which, you know, moves the legs and allows someone to be upright and to move about.
When you're first injured and you're sitting in a wheelchair, you're literally looking up at the world, and the world is literally looking down at you. And that is depressing. I can't underestimate the power of being able to stand up and look at someone eye to eye is beyond powerful.
Okay, and that was Dr. Angela Riccobono. She is our wellness champion, as well as a wellness champion for the residents, I should say, and then also a neuropsychologist that works on the inpatient unit. She's also in that Quad Gods documentary. Okay, we finished that. Oh, I got through it. Okay. So that is our program in a nutshell. How am I doing on time?
You still have 3 minutes remaining.
Perfect. Okay. So fire away. Can I see the chat? Oh, here it is. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to pull this up now. So Andy's doing a great job answering questions. What if one of the residents is on here? Is there one that you guys have handy that you haven't answered yet? I'm just getting like a ton of them on here.
Yeah, someone actually asked about let's see if we have any opportunities for like pelvic floor rehab. That was one question. I said I'm not sure, basically. I don't know if you would know though, Dr. Trentman.
Yeah, you know, that's a good question. I have not known of any of our residents doing an elective in pelvic floor rehab in the Sinai system, but it's something that we would be open to looking into and finding out, definitely. And that's something that I really like about this program in general is we like to say we're always evolving, you know, we're never perfect, and ideas like that, those are things that we can look into for the future. But to my knowledge, I don't know of one actively kind of running that residents go to now.
So, hey, I'm Dr. Cruz. I'm the other APD. I see a lot of patients with pelvic floor dysfunction, either like during, pregnancy or postpartum, as well as just in general. And we don't have an official elective now, but I work with a lot of pelvic floor physical therapists in the community that are always happy to have residents come and join them. So certainly something, if you're of interest, we can definitely set something up. And as Dr. Trentman said, our program is very flexible to try and accommodate diverse interests. I'm seeing a few other, questions in the chat as well. We don't have a CK cutoff, but obviously, with step 1 now just being pass fail, step 2 CK becomes much more important, but in the past, there's not been a clear cutoff. We look at the whole picture, your personal statement, as well as your letters and your extracurriculars.
Let's see. Is there a plan for okay, I'm trying to just scroll to see one that hasn't been answered yet. Is there a plan for the Quad Gods and or the team involved to have a different role after the move to Morningside? To my knowledge, no. And a part of the ability research research lab is staying at Mount Sinai, Maine. Oh yeah, I should have talked about that, but I'll quickly, I know we don't have much time. The inpatient rehab, TBI and SCI will be moving to the Morningside location, Mount Sinai Morningside. That will be happening this year. We're estimated end of October, beginning of November. So for the upcoming people that are applying, expect that the inpatient, it's the same patients and attendings, but the physical location of those specific rotations is moving to Morningside. Some of these other ones are still at Maine though, such as like consults. And then we also have a Mount Sinai West location that you can feel free to email us. So I don't get too in the weeds with all of our locations. But yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much.